Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Okay, I got my name speaked twice, so I think I'm desperate. Sort of. Okay, I have two challenges right now.
Yes.
One is how to be present, and another challenge is how to love myself.
How to love yourself?
Yes.
How to be present?
Yeah.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there any time when you actually aren't present? When you are past or future? Are you here now?
Physically, yes, but I have sort of anxiety, and then my mind is racing all the times.
Racing.
Racing thoughts.
Well, what are your fears? What are you afraid will happen to you?
That's what I'm asking.
Say again.
That's what I'm asking. I don't know what I'm afraid of or what my fear is.
Of course you do. I'll ask it this way. Starting with this line of questioning. Are you living your highest excitement? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then how can you be afraid if you're living your highest excitement?
I don't know.
So the clue is, in that answer, if you are experiencing fear, you are not living your highest excitement. Because if you're actually in a state of excitement, there is no definition of fear within it. When you experience fear, you have left the state of excitement. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, I'll ask the question again this way. What are you afraid will happen if you continue to act on your highest excitement?
I've never thought about it.
Think of it now. What are you afraid will happen if you continue to act on your highest excitement all the time? What are you afraid might happen?
I will be somebody else.
What's wrong with being somebody else? Because the only somebody else you could possibly be is more of yourself if you're acting on your highest excitement. When you give over to fear and choose fear, that's when you're not being you. That's when you're being somebody else. So since you're already being somebody else, and you're used to doing that by giving into your fear, why not stop being somebody else and be yourself by acting on your excitement?
Probably because I know what or who or what kind of person I don't want to be, but still I'm not quite clear about what kind of person that I want to be.
But if you start at least knowing what kind of person you do not prefer to be,
I'm crystal clear.
Then what's left? If you are doing everything you can to not be the person you don't prefer to be, would that not mean automatically that what's left is being the person that you do prefer to be? What else is there?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly. Nothing.
Probably that's what I'm afraid of, that there's somebody that I don't know.
But there are many things you don't know. You will never know everything. Do you think you have to know certain things before you can simply act on your excitement?
I have OCD. I really want to know everything.
You can't know everything. It's not possible for you to know everything. And in fact, knowing everything is getting in your way. Do you understand? Yeah. You're not allowing room to flow. You're not allowing room for spontaneity. You're not allowing room for synchronicity. Insisting on knowing everything before you're willing to take a step is the surest way to stop yourself from taking any step, because you will never know everything you need to know. You can't. Your physical mind isn't capable of knowing everything it needs to know to move through life. May I ask you another question?
Yes.
Have you ever been given a present?
Pardon?
Have you ever been given a present, like on your birthday? A gift. Have you ever been given a gift?
No.
Never? No one's ever given you any gifts? Ever in your life, on your birthday or anything?
Well, I can count it with my fingers, one hand.
Why have you never received gifts from anyone?
Probably that I'm hungry of love because I never get loved.
Well, you have to start with loving yourself.
Yes,
Why should anyone else love you if you don't love yourself?
That's my challenge, as I said.
So, what's stopping you from loving yourself?
I don't like myself.
Sure you do.
I don't like myself.
But that must only mean that you don't think you're worthy of it. Why don't you think you're worthy of it?
How?
Why don't you think you deserve love?
Oh, probably because of my childhood trauma. I was constantly denied by my mom and humiliated by her in.
Oh, all right. But now you are not a child anymore, are you?
No, but that trauma is still there. The pain is still there.
Who says the trauma is still here?
Okay.
You do. You're making the connection. You're creating a past connection that no longer exists. You're assuming the trauma is still with you. You're creating a continuity that doesn't have to be there.
But I got confused. One night, I sort of remembered those sad memories and let it go.
But you are creating those memories now. You see, you think remembering is of the past. It's not. You're creating memories every moment.
So those memories are still serving me, sort of?
They don't exist for you if you understand that they don't exist for you now, because every moment you are a new person, literally.
Yes.
In order to experience what you're calling a memory of the past as if it's real, you have to actually recreate that over and over and over and over again. You have to say, this is part of who I am right now. This is part of who I am right now. This is part of who I am right now. And you're doing this billions of times per second because you have created an assumption that you have to do that. You don't. You can break the continuity. Whatever happened didn't happen to you. It happened to someone else because you are no longer that person. Literally, no longer and never have been that child. You can actually re-identify, redefine yourself right now as a completely different person who never had that past, who never had that history, if you understand how reality works. You are zero every moment, square one every moment, back to scratch every moment, and the only way that it seems as if that's your past is because you are continuing to believe and insist that it is when it's not. That's another person. She has nothing to do with you. You have nothing to do with her, except for the pieces that you want to remain connected to, that you believe serve you at this point. But if there are pieces you believe no longer serve you, then they're not real for you because they never happened to you, the person you are now.
Okay.
This is literal. It's not a metaphor. The way you experience physical reality, the way you experience time, it's a side effect. Time is a side effect of your consciousness shifting through billions of versions, parallel versions of yourself every second. It's like frames on a film strip, where the projector light has to go through each frame in order to create the illusion of movement and time and change. But this frame over here really has absolutely nothing to do with this frame back here. They're two completely different frames. And when you decide to project your consciousness light through a different frame, you will see that this frame has nothing to do with the other frames if you don't prefer that it does. This is actually physically how reality is constructed, a frame at a time, billions of times per second. So every moment you get to decide what frame you are, how you define that moment, who you are in that moment, and it has to have nothing, doesn't have to have anything to do with who you have ever been, because that wasn't you. Is this sinking in a little bit?
Yes.
Let this idea percolate within you. Start exploring, really start understanding and wrapping your mind around the fact that you truly, literally are a different person every moment. I know that when you look in the mirror and you say, well, that still looks like my face, it's not the face that was there a split second ago. It's another one that you've created to create the illusion of continuity, the illusion that you're the same person. Person and personality are artificial constructs. How you define them is how you experience them. So all you're actually saying is, at some point in what you call the past, someone convinced you to buy into a belief system that you are the same person every single moment, and that what happens to one version of you must continue to happen to all the other versions of you. That's one way to experience reality, but it's not the only way, and it is absolutely false in a general sense. It's only true if you have bought into it as a truth. But if it no longer serves you to think of yourself that way, as having been that child, because it simply doesn't resonate with you anymore, and the things that were done simply don't serve you anymore to hold on to, you have every right and every power to let that go, because it actually doesn't exist for the new person you are every moment until you say it does. You are in complete control of feeling out of control. You can never be out of control. To be able to have an experience of being out of control, you have to be in control to create the out of control experience. That's what you're doing because you have been convinced that that's what you must do. But there is absolutely no rule within creation that says you have to do that. You can decide every moment who you are, and you can decide that what was has nothing to do with what is. It's up to you. I understand it may take you a little practice to wrap your mind around this concept of how reality is structured, and that's all right. But we would recommend and suggest that you do practice that and wrap your mind around this understanding of the nature and structure of reality, because it will set you free when your mind finally grasps it. You will be free to be who you prefer to be. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.